The YSL RICO trial is officially canceled until further notice. It was just announced by No Jumper today, Young Thug's RICO trial is now on recess until January 2nd, 2024, after his co-defendant Shannon Stillwell was targeted inside a jail. However, sources have just confirmed the January 2nd date is now no longer a confirmed return date, as we're now going to have to wait until further notice.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and tell you where we are. Remember yesterday we recessed because one of our participants has had a medical issue, and I was telling you about that. Well, unfortunately, that medical condition still exists, and given the length of time that we're going to have to probably address that, it might be just more prudent to recess you and give you an early recess instead of recessing you this Friday, as the court's plan was originally. I'm going to recess you for the holidays today. Okay? So I know you look very disappointed. I can tell from all of you 17 as a group. It's not that bad. Okay, so
while this is very unfortunate for Shannon and we hope he's okay, Young Thug needed a break in this trial. As it was also just reported this week, Young Thug appears uncomfortable, restless, unsettled, and irritated throughout today's examinations based on body language, heavy breathing, sunken posture, and wandering eyes. As the judge is also very stressed out as well, which could easily lead to a mistrial soon. To understand why, we need to investigate all of the times the judge has had to scream inside of this courtroom, as even this week, the judge had to ask the prosecutors to stay out of his business.
Is there anything else at this point in time?
Your Honor, did juror number 39...
Yo, would you stay out of my business, Miss Love?
Oh, well.
Stay out of my business.
Judge,
Look,
I'm sorry.
I've been doing this a long time. Yes, I have, yes. And if you really must know, she's going to reschedule her appointment to the week of the King holiday. You happy? No, you're not happy. But anyways, that's the explanation you're going to get. I'm on top of it. Okay. All right. Yes, Mr. Sharp.
Then just 30 minutes later, it would also be announced Judge and Young Thug trial isn't happy with the state because they never turned in all of the slides they planned on using in their opening argument.
Is there anything else you're going to use in opening you haven't shown to defense counsel? He's telling us. Well, I said that. I told you to do that a week ago. Because here's what I told you was going to happen. I've got a jury that's out right now that's being interrupted. And Mr. Williams, you should have made your motion or should have told me about that an hour ago or when you found out about it. Not hijack me at the bench about that. You did what you had to do, but I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about any of this. Because this is stuff we could take care of before our jury comes in. And that makes you all, lessen your ability as advocates and lessen our ability for this jury to go ahead and get this case seamlessly. This is what I told you all was going to happen. So,
as this made the judge extremely angry. As the judge stated in the start of that clip, he already told the prosecutors to be ready, have all of their evidence and slides ready for the opening day, and they didn't do it.
Your Honor, we would ask, because we would ask that all of this be reserved for the 16th, because this all came up in September. You said you allowed us to...
I am really annoyed about this, Ms. Hilton. I just am. This is ridiculous. Your witness list has grown by 2/3 since then. And I don't know why. You better have a dang good explanation on the 16th, because if you don't, I'm going to exclude it. Okay. But right now I'm telling you, without anything further, it's gone.
Well, we would like to
exclude a lot more on that date, because this is ridiculous. There is no plausible explanation I've gotten and that would suffice, that we just kind of keep, you keep dripping and drabbing out evidence.
As the prosecutors were trying to sneak in 200 plus witnesses to come to trial and share crimes that Young Thug allegedly committed, all while not having the evidence to back up the claims that these witnesses actually witnessed a crime made by Young Thug. The trial is stressing out the judge so much to the point he had to bring in a service dog just to calm him down.
Here behind me is this bell that starts jingling, all right? And if you hear a jingling sound like a bell, please don't think that I'm doing anything creepy up here, all right? I have a service dog behind me. His name is Jack. I think some of you may have seen him already. He lives the best life ever. He's pampered. He's really, and he is a Labrador Retriever. He's about almost 2.5, 3 years old at this point in time. So, but if you hear that bell, that's him moving around, all right? He doesn't bark. He rarely gets interested in what's going on, so he might come up here and look, but that's about it, all right? Don't bring him any food either, okay? All right? He is spoiled rotten. So please don't try and throw any food back here behind me or anything like that. He doesn't need anything else, okay? But if you hear that bell, hear that sound.
However, to understand when Young Thug's soon release could be, we need to dive deep into how bad the prosecutors truly are, as the prosecutors are having a hard time even asking a simple question to their own witness on the stand, leaving many to believe, how did these guys even get their job?
As it relates to a musical artist's words, is there any crime in saying words?
There are certainly potentially crimes in spoken words.
All right. Now, I'm not talking about crimes being described in words. I'm speaking of, is there a crime to speak the words?
As a generality, no. Outside of...
Your Honor, that's the answer to the question. And
So it's not responsive, is that what you're saying? Okay, I sustain this and not responsive.
Have you ever sought to arrest anyone for speaking words in a song?
No, ma'am.
As the judge was finally able to grant the prosecutors one witness to come to the stand and share what crime that Young Thug allegedly committed. This is where we would meet Melissa Rozier, where a report would read, in Thug's RICO trial, Melissa Rozier, a house mom at the Pony South Club outside of Atlanta, testifies about getting carjacked on her way home from work. She would break down how the crime started with her driving home from work until ultimately running into a YSL member.
Stopped at the stop sign and I felt someone hit me. I looked up and saw a car. I didn't want to block the entrance, so I pulled on to the right, which is the direction I would have taken to go home anyway. So I turned to the right, stopped, got out of my car, turned it off. I left my keys and everything in my car. The subdivision in which I was living at the time, a lot of Delta people worked there. People were coming and going all hours of the day and night. I mean, women would be pushing babies in strollers 5:30 in the morning out running. So I thought nothing of it. I got out and turned the car off, left the door open, everything in the car. I walked towards the back of the car. A young man got out of his car. I greeted him. He greeted me. I looked down at the bumper and saw no damage. And I really, at that point, was going to look up and say, honey, I'm tired, I'm going home, you go home.
As she would explain that it all started with somebody hitting her vehicle very slightly. When she hopped out of her car to see the damages, this is when she would get carjacked by a YSL member.
And as I looked up, I saw someone in his car rising up and he was running around me. I guess my mind knew something was about to happen, something that wasn't good, but it happened so fast. He got in my car, and because of the backpack, my mind just focused on the backpack. I opened the back left passenger's door, thinking I could reach into the front seat and get the backpack, and the backpack, because it had my daddy's CD in it and my camera. So I reached in to get that, and I guess instinct, I don't know, God said just let it go. So I stepped back and actually shut the door myself. And he drove off. At that point, I think the other car had already gone.
As this crime occurred 10 years ago in 2013, the state then asked her if she knew a man named Trontavious Stevens, who is the co-founder of YSL, who took a plea deal in December of 2022. She said that she doesn't remember his name at all, making her testimony very strange and not having any evidence against a YSL member. So the state would then call the officer that was in charge of investigating this crime all the way back in 2013. Who also provided little to no evidence at all, so he began lying on the stand to try to make Young Thug look bad. However, Thug's lawyers were ready for this and even embarrassed the officer on the stand, as during trial, the officer claimed that Young Thug and YSL members were teasing him by throwing up hand signs.
I observed them
come out of the building with their attention already focused
Where?
on the vehicle that I was driving, myself and my partner.
Okay.
And then they immediately began throwing signs and yelling at us.
Had you done anything to that group of gentlemen before they came out, focusing on you and your partner, throwing signs and yelling at you?
No, ma'am.
As moments after, Young Thug's lawyers would call him out for lying. As a report would read, Young Thug's lawyers are going to work. Atlanta officer is getting cross-examined after accusing Thug of flashing hand signs at him. Thug's lawyers are asking why this wasn't mentioned in the original report.
When you testified a while ago for the state, and they asked you a couple questions about this, you said they were flashing signs, right?
Correct.
Right. Now, you didn't say that in your report, though, did you?
No.
And I mean, you wrote a 2-page report, and it was very detailed about everything that happened and everyone who was involved, down to names and dates of births, right?
Right.
You put a serial number in there, right?
Yes.
And you're trained as a police officer that anything that is of significance, like if you think, for example, something is related, you put that in the report, right?
Right.
But that report, the same one that she had you read, right, because you can remember some stuff, in that third paragraph where it talks about what you saw those people doing, you ain't say nothing about, I saw signs, right?
Correct.
Huge social media pages would begin reacting online, sharing, "The defense in Young Thug trial is going off on the state witness for lying, saying that he saw hand signs being thrown at him," as even sources inside of the courtroom would allege that everyone on Young Thug's team began laughing. Even Thug was laughing so hard, he began to cry. With the trial looking like a joke, the prosecutors not knowing even what they're doing, there is now a problem with the jury members that can have the entire trial canceled completely, which in the end would help Young Thug get released, as Thug's lawyers are now pushing for a mistrial after it was reported this week a juror has been dismissed in the Young Thug YSL RICO trial and is being replaced with an alternate after being in the hospital over the weekend.
I'm in receipt of the admission form, and as of current, she is still in the hospital. Her anticipated release date potentially is this coming Wednesday. So, much as I like to wait till Wednesday, I'm going to probably have to go ahead and excuse her due to illness. So, does anybody wish to be heard about that issue?
Your Honor, before we do that, can I just figure out who 269 is?
All right, and I'll let you take a look at I'm going to mark this as the next court exhibit in order, as well as I'm going to seal it for purposes of juror confidentiality.
As Thug's RICO trial is having a major issue currently with jurors, and it could even result in a case where we run out of jury members. As DJ Akademiks would make a report about a different jury member which states, members of the jury were shown on live stream. People believe this is why the judge called the attorneys to his chambers for a potential mistrial. As reports would then quickly come out from No Jumper, fans are already identifying jury members on Thug's trial after the courtroom camera accidentally revealed their faces. As a commenter would state, "I know that guy with the glasses on, that's Dante Wilson, he is on the jury," as his comment would be liked by DJ Akademiks, making it go viral online. We now have 3 jury members that have been excused from Thug's trial, which could end up in a mistrial if we run out of jury members. This is why Young Thug's lawyers are going to work, sharing why Thug is a great person, as he would first go on to explain what the name Young Thug even means.
That was not what Thug meant to Jeffrey. Thug meant and means to Jeffrey something very personal. It was his path. If he could ever make it as a musical artist and help his family, himself, and as many others out of this endless cycle of hopelessness, he would be truly humble under God. That's what Thug means.
As he's trying to give Young Thug a very good look inside of the courtroom to the rest of the jury members, as there is a chance that they have to deliberate early, and this could lead to Thug getting released. This is then when Thug's lawyer would reveal what pushing P stands for, as it apparently means pushing positivity.
That is a P. Jeffrey's fingers are down. And what you'll learn is that Jeffrey just released with Sergio Kitchens, performed known as Gunna, a song that is wildly popular. It's around the globe. It's called Pushing P. And it's positivity. It means any circumstance you're in, if you think positively about something, you can make it through. You're pushing positivity. You're pushing P. Jeffrey is showing the P.